South Park. We are gonna show fucking APAC the power of the motherfucking South Bronx.
Illuminati is a thing you need to watch out for. They want to depopulate and slave us so much more. World domination, I'll get into that later. I'm hardcore, fierce and sexy. You're just a hater. You deserve the ridicule because you're an absolute zero. I'm the keeper of the chalice, a rock and roll hero. I'm not an idiot nobody listens to, because I'm not a failure in life like you. Let's talk about the gates and the mark of the beast and the orgies in the streets at the Catholic feasts and Bill and Hillary's human trafficking ring. And George Soros got the money to pay for everything. Socialism is for losers, working for the devil. Chumps that can't fight, they ain't on my level. It takes an evil one to try to debunk and doubt it, so I'd rather die than stop talking about it. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out for the Illuminati.
What's good, my people? You're watching the MC Too Tall Show. I, of course, am your hardcore, fierce, and sexy host, MC Too Tall. Now, at the beginning of this video, you saw former Congressman Jamaal Bowman. Jamaal Bowman, in this footage, is at a campaign rally for a failed campaign because he got primaried out and didn't even make it to the general election. And when he lost, he was crying that we should be outraged, rolling his R's at the crowd, pandering to what probably was a mostly Latino crowd. Not Latinx, Latino crowd. And you might ask, why am I showing this footage now? People know about Jamaal Bowman. People know he was a radical. People know about that embarrassing campaign rally that did nothing to help his campaign. If anything, it hurt it and caused him to get primaried out. So why bring him up now? Well, Zoran Mamdani, man you hear me talk about quite often. He won the Democratic nomination for New York City mayor. He's actually contemplating, if elected mayor, to appoint him to head up the Department of Education. So we need somebody like that. We need somebody like that to be in charge of your educators, the people who teach your children, so that your children come home and you ask your little son or daughter or whatever, "Hi, Danny. Hi, Janie. What did you learn in school today?" And they could look up at you and say, "Well, Daddy, the teacher showed us who the fuck we are." Is that what we're looking forward to? Is this what you want? We're not talking about a prominent, educated figure here. Maybe he's got a piece of paper on his wall somewhere that shows that he received some sort of commie indoctrination. But does he really have the smarts to do anything? He couldn't even hold the job that he had. And it was the people that fired him. The people of his own congressional district that fired him. And you're going to push him on the children of the very people who fired him? That would make it another reason not to elect Zoran Mamdani as mayor. Because even the rumor of this is enough to say, nah, bro, I don't want that. I don't even have kids. So you figure, okay, Well, what's his stake in it if he doesn't have kids? He's just a 55-year-old guy with no kids, will probably never have kids considering his age, blah, blah, blah. You gotta understand, when youth are poorly educated, they grow up as total ditzes. These people become lawyers, doctors, that sort of thing. I could one day, when I'm a senior citizen, be lying on an operating table with somebody who was educated through a Department of Education that was headed up by someone like Jamaal Bowman. So, my life would hang in the balance based on the insights and opinions of a person standing over me with a scalpel. A scalpel, I mean. So, this could be a person with blue hair, claiming to be non-binary, saying, well, he reminds me of the person that misgendered me 10 years ago. Let me accidentally, on purpose, botch this operation. And Mr. Krantz can rest in peace. We got a vindictive generation being brought up because of the Democrats. People like Jamaal Bowman. People like Zohan Mandani are a product of that. You got people like Elizabeth Warren that are 1 foot in the grave or 1 foot in the Indian graveyard, but are so radicalized they have a hand in the radicalization and the vindictiveness of our up-and-coming youth. Thank God you have some youth in some conservative red states that love America. They're for God and country and family. So, who knows? If my quest for a red New York fails, I may have to move. But I don't want it to come to that. I'd rather fight tooth and nail to the day I die. But it is interesting that someone like Jamaal Bowman, of all people, Jamaal Bowman, who put on all these theatrics and profanities, only to prove what a jackass he is to the people of his congressional district who eventually fired him. And we have a mayoral candidate that is considering putting him as part of his staff to head up, of all things, the Department of Education. Now let me remind you how brilliant this man is. This man disrupted the House one day by pulling a fire alarm while the House of Representatives were trying to pass a bill. House of Representatives are trying to pass a bill. You have speakers on the House floor discussing the bill. Some opposed, some for it. I forgot which bill it was. And he runs to the stairwell and pulls a fire alarm. Now, he claims he didn't do this to disrupt the House. He's swearing up and down wholeheartedly that he did not do this to disrupt the House. He's claiming he couldn't get out of the damn stairwell. You go to the next floor then, and you figure it out. You do something like that. You go to the next floor, you find another stairwell, do something. You don't pull the damn firebox. And it turns out that the door that he said was jammed, that he himself was easily able to open. He opened the door that he claimed was stuck, that made him have to supposedly pull that fire alarm. So, were you pulling the fire alarm because you wanted to disrupt the house and you're lying about it? Or are you really that stupid where you can't figure out how to open a door? Boy, oh boy, if that's not showing us who the fuck you are now, isn't it? And if you're that stupid that you couldn't figure out how to open a door, something I knew how to do when I was about 3 years old. I was just too short to reach the door handle, but I knew how to do it. But you couldn't figure this out. And you want to be in charge of the Department of Education. You're sitting there kicking back thinking it's a great idea that radical Intifada mayoral candidate Zoran Mamdani is considering you to head up the Department of Education in New York City. Let me remind you, is the biggest city in the United States and one of the biggest cities in the entire world. And isn't the education system in our inner cities bad enough without the help of the likes of Jamaal Bowman? More reason not to, repeat, not to elect Zoran Mamdani, the sicko socialist Intifada mayoral candidate. So, while I'm here, before I go out, today's July 6th, I want to give a shout out to my cousin Janet out in Staten Island. We grew up in the same housing projects together, which explains that Brooklyn toughness that both cousin Janet and I have. And let me go out again by saying my usual to my loyal friends, fans, and followers. Respect God. Watch out for the Illuminati. Follow and share this wonderful content. Don't forget, Sleeper's running for mayor too. Stay strong, keep kicking that slang. It's your boy in the building, hip-hop legend, recording engineer, underground rock and roll hero, MC Too Tall.